It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a new episode of Hard News with Murdock. Hashtag Eric B. Rakim. Hashtag Derek A. Murdock for president. Grown and sexy, you know how we do. Young whippersnappers get a clue. Now, I was working on a whole nother report, and I haven't been able to get behind this because I was sick the last couple of weeks in 2019. But then a report came through that confirmed that the U.S. has killed Iranian General Qassem Soleimani. Now, truth be told, I can't see the Iranian government seeing this as no less than an act of war. But I'm not exactly sure how the mainstream media is going to spin this. So what I'm going to do is give y'all a brief breakdown on everything that happened that got us to this point, so y'all won't be so easily misinformed or disinformed, okay? With that being said, let's get into this. Now, back in August of 2015, the Iran nuclear deal was signed, which greatly reduced Iran's capacity to be able to produce a nuclear bomb. Now, to be a little bit more detailed in this agreement, it actually limited the enrichment of uranium to 3.7% and to cap its stockpile of low-enriched uranium to 300 kilograms or 660 pounds for 15 years. That is considered insufficient for a bomb rush. And here goes some of Obama's comments on the Iran nuclear deal from that day.
Today, after 2 years of negotiations, the United States, together with our international partners, has achieved something that decades of animosity has not: a comprehensive long-term deal with Iran that will prevent it from obtaining a nuclear weapon. This deal demonstrates that American diplomacy can bring about real and meaningful change.
Now, fast forward to 2018, and the Orange Savage chief is running around trying to dismantle any and everything that Obama ever did during his presidency, including abandoning the Iran nuclear deal. Now, amazingly enough, Iran said that it will remain in the deal, which tightly restricted its nuclear ambitions for a decade or more in return for ending the sanctions that has crippled its economy. Now in 2019, things started to heat up even more when Trump named Iran's Revolutionary Guard a foreign terrorist group, which is basically calling Iran's entire military a terrorist group. And if that's not crazy enough, he went on to start posting more sanctions on the country, which put an end to any trades or any deals that they had going on outside of the country, which means that now they stockpiling even more uranium and more oil. Now, this is where things started escalating rapidly because on December 27th, Iran fired a missile attack onto a military base in Iraq, which caused the death of an American military contractor, which led to 2 airstrikes in Syria and Iraq of 2 Iran-backed military bases, which killed 25 Iraqi paramilitary forces fighters and injuring 51. Which led to the siege of the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad by pro-Iranian protesters. Now, this siege took place over the course of a couple of days, and just when that was finally coming to an end, this happens.
We begin with breaking news from Iraq. Reports of a missile strike at the Baghdad International Airport. Those reports claiming there are civilian casualties. It comes amid that showdown with Iran. President Trump blaming Iran for 2 days of violent protests at the U.S. Embassy there in Baghdad. Hundreds of additional U.S. troops rushed to the region, including these from the 82nd Airborne, boarding planes at Fort Bragg. And tonight, Defense Secretary Mark Esper warning that Iran may be planning new attacks on U.S. interests. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz leading us off.
Tonight, reports of civilian casualties at the Baghdad International Airport after a reported missile strike hit a cargo area, which shut the airport down. And tonight, we are learning a top Iranian commander was killed in a missile strike. This follows the stunning attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, one of the most fortified in the world. For 2 straight days, Iranian-backed militias and Iraqi supporters hurling rocks, setting embassy rooftops and guard posts on fire, and ramming bulletproof windows while chanting, "Down, down with America." Nearly 900 additional U.S. forces were rushed to the region, with thousands more on alert if they are needed. With the Pentagon warning today that Iran may be planning more attacks on U.S. interests in the region, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs insisted that when it comes to protecting the embassy, there is sufficient combat power there, he said, air and ground, that anyone who attempts to overrun it will run into a buzzsaw.
Martha Raddatz joining us right now from Washington. And Martha, we're still getting more details about that missile strike on the airport. But what is the ultimate goal of those who attacked the embassy?
Well, Whit, they say they want all U.S. troops out of Iraq and Syria, but so far their actions have only led to an increase in U.S. forces. Whit?
All right, Martha Raddatz, our thanks to you.
And as predicted, before I can even make it to the end of this report, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei came forward and said that there would be severe revenge for killing one of Iran's top generals. And with that, that's all I have. Just a little information to bring you up to speed of everything that's been going on and how we got to this point. As usual, I will leave links in the description below if you want to dive down the rabbit hole of information with me and become more informed. Remember, the revolution is unclassified. Later.